So Gauteng has recorded a 45.2% increase in murders between January and March this year. Provincial Police Commissioner Lieutenant-General Elias Mawela announced this during the fourth quarterly crime stats briefing yesterday. The commissioner says that the end of the lockdown may have contributed greatly to an increase in crime. For more on the stats and what we should make of them, let's bring in Commissioner Mawela, who joins us now via our telephone line this morning. It's great to have you on the program, Lieutenant General. Thank you so much for making time. You know, a lot of attention in the last couple of hours has been on the murder rate, and we really are spoiled to choice about where in these stats to look first. But I want to just hone in on the sexual offences numbers that you announced yesterday. An increase of about 11.3%, but I guess what stands out for me is that 77% of those sexual offences were rape. Do we know how many of those cases resulted in a successful prosecution?
Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers. And once more, let me appreciate and thank you for the opportunity given to us. The crime stats for the period under review was not pleasing at all. We have seen high escalation of those incidents of crime. Yes, it is true. The lockdown also played a role in that, because the times in which we are comparing, for example, the 2020-2021, January and February, it was during the lockdown level number 3, and the curfew, it was stretching from 9 o'clock, I think, until 6 o'clock in the morning. And then the period in which we are comparing, absolutely there was nothing. It means that the people, they were free. Those who were sitting in the taverns and whatever, they could sit until the early hours of the morning. And the number of people in the tavern, we were no longer having that hard restriction, hard restriction about those things. So it has a direct impact on the crime situation. Yeah. Coming to the murder issues, yes, it is of concern. 45.2%. It's a huge number. When we translate it into the raw figures, it's 437 cases more as compared to last year. But what we have done, when we analyze the case dockets as to where are these murders coming from, we have found that on 60 incidents of murders in our province, it has produced 140 victims. And the 50 dockets whereby there were 2 victims each, 6 dockets, 3 victims each, 1 docket giving us 4 victims. So those are some of the things which have made the murder rates can go up. Right. Because for each and everybody, there must be a case docket.
Yeah, Commissioner, I hear you. Let me bring you back to the heart of the question I was asking, though. I was just essentially trying to get a sense of the rape cases that were logged in the same time period, and it's more than 2,200 of those. How many of the cases have led to successful prosecutions, or at least have prospects of something like that taking place?
When coming to the rape cases, we are doing extremely well in terms of solving those cases. But remember, these cases, they take too long. It doesn't mean that, once it has happened during these 3 months, those cases will be finalized within 3 months' time. So it will take long. Some of those cases will be finalized in court later in the year. But coming to the sexual offenses, our FCS is doing extremely well in terms of arresting the suspects and then achieving good results.
In the past, activists have actually told us that part of the reasons why these cases take a long time is because police themselves are literally giving them bare minimum work, or at least are giving prosecutors the bare minimum when they do their own investigations on the ground, as it were. What's your response to that?
We cannot blame the police for each and everything, whether it's for the delay and whatever. Remember, when we investigate these cases, we need to do a thorough work. We need to get social workers who are also assisting the victims of crime. We must also prepare the witnesses well so that And also the forensic investigators can also put together their reports before it can be taken to court. So we cannot put the entire blame on the police officers. It's a chain, and it requires everybody to work together.
On the whole, are you satisfied with the quality of investigative work that is put together by police as they hand over to the NPA for prosecution?
Coming to sexual offences, I'm very proud of our units. They are doing extremely well. We achieve a lot of life sentences. We achieve a lot of long years of sentences behind bars. So I am satisfied with the work done by our FCS in the province.
Can you give us a sense of perhaps the conviction rate, roughly speaking? I appreciate you might not have the exact figure, though.
Yes, I may not have the exact figure, but I can tell you that out of 10 cases presented before court by our FCS, 8 of those cases will have a positive result.
All right, that's more or less 80%. We have seen, though, some communities, you know, to be able to combat crime effectively, you need police to have a good relationship with the communities where they actually operate. I'll bring up one instance where that's not the case. In Eldorado Park, we followed quite closely the story of a station commander being brought into that community, the issues in that area you must be aware of. And the community there has pushed back against this particular commander being placed in that community because of their claims that he's dismissive amongst many other allegations. Do you know about this case? If so, what has been your response to it?
Yeah, I know about the incident. I know about that community in Bizo, which was called by the MEC there. But they have resolved the issue. They have resolved the issue between the community and the station commander. Now they are working together. It was just a misunderstanding which has happened because the station commander was newly appointed, and then after being appointed, you know, there were some other people who were not happy about that. But the bigger number of the community members in that community, they are working together with the station commander and they are happy. And that's why there is a very good result which we are achieving between the community and the police.
Another community we've watched quite closely is that of Diepsloot. Again, a lot of the crime taking place there, making news headlines. A big part of what came out of our interactions with some officers in that region is around the lack of resources, their inability to move around the community itself because of just the spatial planning that's taken place there. But they did highlight an issue which I think is not related to just Diepsloot, and that's just of police not having enough resources to be able to carry out their work. To what extent has that contributed to the numbers we're seeing in this last quarter?
Yes, it contributed, but we are happy with the intervention by the minister because he has provided some additional resources for our members there. We also have an intervention team which is operating in that particular space. Thus far, I think all the interventions are giving us the desired outcome. And we have also observed that, you know, the relationship between the police and the community has also improved. Everybody is focusing on one thing and one thing only, to fight against crime in that space.
The past few days has also had us dealing with shootings that really have taken people aback. I mean, one that comes to mind is one that took place at a popular eatery in Rosebank. Broad daylight, someone gunned down as they were presumably having something to eat. In another instance, a shooting in Malville where we understand the robbers ran into a nearby pharmacy and then went on to rob the people allegedly who were in that pharmacy. Are you getting a sense that the kind of crime that's taking place in parts of Johannesburg, maybe broadly in Gauteng, is becoming more brazen?
Yeah, obviously the criminals here in Gauteng, they are brazen. No doubt about it. And that is one of our biggest concerns because of, you know, all these matters which we are talking about right now. You find that it's one incident which gives us more than 3, 4, 5 bodies at a time. Just over the weekend, in one of the taverns in Enadale, you understand, people, they are arguing about music. Others, they like this music which is being played. Others, they don't like it. As a result, what do? Take out firearm and they start shooting each other. And out of that incident, we had 3 bodies on the ground. So something which is, the police will forever be reactive on that. But to be proactive is a little bit difficult. All what we are asking for in Gauteng is that let us find a better way to resolve our conflict. Because slightest conflict, people, they result into violence in Gauteng. And it's of biggest concern for us. And even if you can check the overall crime stats of Gauteng, where do we generate the big numbers? It is out of assault common, assault GPH, and robbery aggravating. Robbery aggravating, the communities, they may not forgive me. I heard that you have a role to play there. Be proactive, be visible, be everything for us. But coming to assault common and assault GPH, we have generated over 19,000 cases out of those 2 categories. And those categories, they graduate, they become attempted murder, some they result into murder, some will generate DV cases out of those assaults. So our people in Gauteng, if they can learn to resolve conflict in a better way, surely we'll find a better way to can reduce crime in this province.
Yeah, that's just one way of intervening. Speak to us, Lieutenant General, about how many of your officers have been held accountable in a context where various communities have come forward to say that, police work in cahoots with criminals, and that's why sometimes it's so hard to find the criminals, especially criminals that are known to community members.
Yeah, you see, in Gauteng we are merciless. We found you on the wrong side of the law, we deal with you accordingly. We treat you like a hardcore criminal. We don't care whether you are a police officer or who you are. So all those police officers whom there is concrete information or concrete evidence that they are in cahoots with criminals, surely we deal with them decisively. We have 2 teams of the anti-corruption unit. One team led by the DPCI and another team led by our organized crime unit. And they are doing extremely well. We do arrest police officers who are working with criminals.
Are you able to give us an idea quickly of how many of these officers have been arrested, for instance, in the last year?
Unfortunately, I don't have the numbers in my disposal. I don't want to mislead you. But I can tell you that we do arrest them. A lot of them.
All right, that's the time we have. Lieutenant-General Elias Mawela, thanks very much indeed for your time. Appreciate it here on the AM Report. Elias Mawela, of course, is the Gauteng Police Commissioner.